light up the world. We light up the world.
Welcome to Fire to Inspire the podcast. I'm your host, Angel Yasmin, and today's quote is, "You can't do anything about your family history, but you can definitely change your family's future."
That's right.
Today we have a very special guest from Bravo TV's reality show, Married to Medicine, by the name of Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott Metcalfe, who are both physicians in the medical field. Today we're going to dive in a little deeper on health matters, and we're going to talk about heart disease.
Okay.
So let's welcome Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott to the show. Thank you so
Hello.
much.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Oh my God, thank you guys for taking the time out.
Of course.
Let's go ahead and fire away. What was it that led you guys to become the doctor that you are today? Like, give us your education, background, all of that good stuff.
Okay.
I'm the youngest of 10 kids. Ever since I was born, they basically referred to me as doctor.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
so my brothers, my
Self-fulfilling
sisters,
prophecy.
Wow.
and that's basically, they created a self-fulfilling prophecy because I've always wanted to be a doctor. I've always known I was going to be a doctor, you know, and even when I didn't know the road to becoming a doctor, I still knew that I was going to become a doctor. So, yeah, my motivation is probably my family. And then, you know, just I always was interested in school. So, you know, as being a doctor, you had to be a good student.
Yes.
So, elementary, high school, middle school, college. I went to college at Michigan State University.
Awesome.
And I went to med school at Wayne State University.
Okay.
And then I practiced a few years. I took my residency in family medicine in Flint, Michigan. And I practiced a few years in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
And then I bumped into this wonderful lady right
Yes.
here.
How did you two lovebirds meet? I would love to hear that.
I'm going to let her tell her
I know.
version.
But you can tell us how you
Yeah,
got
she gonna
started
tell you her
first.
version.
and
I'm
then
going to tell you my version, you know.
Okay.
So my path was a little different. I grew up with two chronically ill parents. And so it went back and forth. My mom actually got diagnosed with breast cancer in her 20s and my dad with Crohn's disease. And so they were always kind of, you know, like they wouldn't just get sick. They would have to go into the hospital for a while. And my dad had several surgeries because of the Crohn's. He would have flare-ups and have to go in for IV treatment. And then, of course, my mom actually had surgery and then chemotherapy, radiation. She's had the whole gamut. And then she ultimately perished as a result of breast cancer. Yeah, so that's so for that reason, I felt I was, you know, well, growing up, I was always in hospitals and clinics and around doctors. And it was at first, you know, that kind of could lead you just to want to become something in the medical field, like just some affinity for medicine. But I think what happened was it was this level of reverence that my mother in particular, because she was definitely the more prevalent parent in my life. And I would see how she would look at her doctors, and it would just be like, I'm a Christian, and so I know only God heals.
Amen.
But it was an element of kind of their healing me, and she looked at them for hope, and I saw the power of that. It led me to that, to wanting to do that for other people.
Wow, that's such an amazing story. You two, it's divine purpose that you're doing what you're doing, and thank you for what you're doing for the community. So I want to know, how did you two lovebirds meet each other?
I went to college at Xavier in New Orleans, and Xavier is #1 in placing African Americans in med school.
Okay.
And so I would almost say it was cool to be smart and cool to go to medical school.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I went to med school at St. Louis University, and then I went to the Navy, and so I started my residency there. And then after that, I spent some time doing family medicine. I liked family medicine, but I felt like I wanted to do something a little bit different in the sense of, in medicine, we are allowed to treat people and you can charge for that.
Okay.
But the preventive side, which is kind of because of, you know, we're talking about family history.
Right.
What kind of got led to after being a doctor for a while is really, how do I prevent illness? How do I not get sick? Or then not after taking it from my personal side, how do I help other people not get sick? And so that led me back into training in preventive medicine. And so preventive occupational medicine are the things that I kind of got led to from that. I've loved my time in the military and loved VA, and I love working with veterans. And so that's still my passion, veterans health. And yeah, so.
Her passion is definitely
Preventive
medicine and healthy lifestyle. And as you can see, she keeps herself in shape.
I mean,
You
beautiful,
know,
honey.
and,
I'm over here juicing, trying to get like you.
You were so sweet, yeah.
But see, you see how she kind of skipped over the part where she pursued me? I mean, how
I know,
when
right?
we first met. So, you know, I'm going to let her tell her
I
version.
would love to hear what your
I'm gonna let her
version
tell her
is.
Look,
version.
let's
I'll
hear
edit
these
it.
versions.
I want to edit
And
it.
then I'll tell you the
Tell me
version.
what you think
I'm going to
happened.
sprinkle a little testosterone.
You tell me
So,
what you think happened.
What I think happened.
Yes.
What happened?
What happened?
I think that I was at a medical conference.
That's correct.
And I was in my last year of med school, and this young whippersnapper was in her first year of medical school.
Okay.
And as I recall, the first meeting was on an elevator.
That's correct.
Okay. Doing good.
And she came
After
in,
this is when it gets a little bit
She came in
shady.
shiny and beautiful. I won't even lie.
A little fishy.
I can tell you, she had braids, and I want to say she had on like a little green outfit, but I can't remember.
Okay.
But I do remember the braids.
You remember the braids?
Yep.
Okay.
And so every medical conference, I would bring some friends with me that were non-medical. I would bring family because I was like, look, I'm going to a pre-med conference. It's women there. It's going to be 65% women, 35% guys. And I said,
and all gonna be doctors.
Yep, and everybody's gonna be a doctor.
You about to hit the.
So I was like, dude, come down here and meet y'all.
The reverse NBA NFL draft. That's right.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Amazing.
And
it's
so,
your sugar mama.
My brother's an engineer, and my brother came down and he said, my mentor is taking his boat out tomorrow.
Yacht.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a difference.
He was
both
this
yacht or two.
This man was a Black Enterprise.
Ooh, come on.
Yeah, it was 82 feet. And it was in Fort Lauderdale, right on the harbor.
Mm-hmm. Outside of Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a yacht.
He said, my son is getting engaged. Brian, if you and your brother want to come out on the boat and bring some friends, you can tomorrow.
Ooh.
So we met them on the elevator, and
the flossing began.
There it goes.
But didn't y'all come to the room later? And then we invited
Wait
you guys. We invited them. No, nothing. Like we invited them up to the room.
Let me sit my tea on that one.
This is where
the first night.
This is where it gets stretchy. But nonetheless, I don't think we had this whole conversation.
Because if you met me once, you would know that this next part is the editing part, the revision.
I can't tell you if we met.
Revised memories.
I can't tell you if they came up to the room and we invited
You
them.
must have been lit.
Absolutely not.
You had to be lit a little bit. Were you drinking?
No.
Okay.
Well,
somebody like.
No, probably not. But nonetheless.
Okay.
We invited them. It was 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And then it was 4 of them. And they pretty much said, you know what? Can we trust these dudes? Probably not. You know.
But they can't kill all of us.
They can't kill all of us.
We were all students.
Okay,
we were all students out of town at a conference thinking, you know, it wasn't like we were thinking it could have been a potential Natalie Holloway situation.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't want to come up missing, but we said they can't kill all of us. That's exactly what we said. They can't take all of us. And so we did like a cost benefit thing where we said, how many times in your life do you get offered the opportunity to go on a yacht? Never.
Seriously.
Still in life, I still have really, even after having become a doctor and knowing people, still
we very, been on one that big again.
Never again. Right. And still have never just had that, hey, do you want to go on the yacht today? That kind of offer.
Just gotta go.
Like,
sometimes you just gotta
we
go.
just said, let's live a little bit. And it still, to date, is one of the best days of my life. Yeah. Still was fantastic. It was just so motivational.
It was fireworks.
No, it was
no, really.
No, it was just motivational.
Okay.
And
yes.
I'm trying to help y'all out.
I know, right?
I'm trying to help y'all out.
What happened was, after that made us actually stay in touch. Oh. And so we became like friends, and we would see each other and keep
for the next 3 years.
And then it became like he was that friend that I would talk to once or twice a year and be like, you know, if you're not married in 5 years and I'm not married in 5 years, why don't we get together? And so it came, and then we
was it long distance?
We were always long distance.
We didn't
we
start
were always for years. We just stayed friends.
We were just friends for 3
long
years.
Distance friends.
And you were in what state? And
I was in Michigan.
And I was in Missouri.
Okay.
And then we would see each other. We would talk for these like hours and hours, and then not for for 6 months or something. Wow. And then finally, he said, are you guys, you know, how would you like to go to this conference called Caravana? Like, or whatever it's called. Caravana, right? It's like Mardi Gras in Toronto.
Festival.
It's like, it's basically Mardi Gras in Toronto.
Caribbean Festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so I read about it in Essence, and I called my girlfriend. And I said, this sounds like another adventure. Let's do it. And that time, we actually started dating after that. It was fireworks that time, years later.
I don't know if it was fireworks. I think it was sympathy for me because, look, I had just injured my knee playing basketball, and, like, I was limping around. I was a gimp.
And his friends were dogging him out, leaving him behind.
Look,
like that girlfriend on Mardi Gras, like if
I know, right?
She was like, leave him. I was like, oh, where's your
friend? She came and got me. She came and picked me up.
He was on the injured reserve list, and they was just like, you on the bench, bro. Right. We having fun. You can't keep up because it was a walking type of thing.
Yeah, my boys dogged me.
Yeah. So anyway, so we ended up hanging out the whole time, and then it was fireworks after that.
I love it. That is the cutest story ever.
Yes.
Oh my God. But now, okay, so both of you guys are full-time husband and wife. You have 3 beautiful kids.
Thank you.
One of them just gave me a cupcake. I can't wait to enjoy it after the
Uh-huh.
show.
Yep.
And she insisted that I had it, though. I was like, I'm good because I'm not juicing, you know.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, no.
She's like, no,
Sugar.
if you change your mind.
Blow that.
Here it is.
Yeah,
but
here we go.
beautiful kids.
Thank you.
And you are both doctors and you're on Married to Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how in the heck are you guys juggling all this? Like, how do you balance all this?
Not easy.
It's not easy at all.
But it's fun, right?
It is fun sometimes. I mean,
Okay.
I think in life, I don't have as much conflict as I do on the screen.
Uh-oh.
I would hope not.
I'm pretty.
I know.
I'm really pretty. Like, I'm a nice person. I was Miss Xavier. I was my college queen. I was homecoming queen in high school. I mean, like in life, I've always been the nice girl, like everybody's friend. On television, it's just you basically, one of the kind of formulas that work for conflict is you put a lot of type A people who are highly opinionated and very different, but similar in the sense that they believe what they believe together in a small place, and you don't let them leave. And so, of course,
and you
that's
can't
a formula.
let them make it on everything that they say.
No,
right?
exactly, yeah. So it's just, so you just can't like sit there and, you know, tell me that the sky is purple. It's like, but it's just not, you know?
Wow.
And that kind of stuff. It's just everybody fundamentally believes what they believe. And that's a formula for conflict.
So is it real TV? Like it's
no
real?
script. There is
Wow.
no script. There is no script.
Really?
It is so disappointing. I wanted it to be scripted.
Yeah.
Really?
I wanted
You
it.
wanted to be
I
scripted.
thought-
Because sometimes you
that's
like,
awesome.
oh,
No,
that was left where she came from. And
I wanted it to be like improv. I really wanted it to be. I thought that was
so
going
it's just
to be,
like they put you in this room and you just go.
are just these experience. You know, like we are friends.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things about it is you did sign up to not leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you have conflict, you kind of are forced to work it out. And that's the part that, you know, in life, you can like not talk to your friend for like 7 months or a year and you be like, forget her. But you can't really, when you sign up to see each other and participate.
But I love your character.
Thank
You're
you.
not a character.
Yeah.
I love who you are.
I try. Hopefully you'll love me this year.
I know. Look, are you getting a little nasty with us
I
this year?
think it wasn't so much nasty.
a little more military came out.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, you know, you kind of tired of being stepped on. Like people kind of, you're not gonna earn your stripes on me. Like, not gonna be the. No, you're not gonna pick the. Oh wait, not her. Not she's a nice one. Let me just pick at her. No, I'm only nice because I want to be, not because I have to be.
Right.
And you don't really have to show that all the time, but occasionally people just require.
You have sometimes you just gotta let them know.
Did you just do that?
That you have a little flame too.
Yeah, we
That's
all do. It's like the Hulk.
Trust
Like it is.
me.
I'm always. You like it's always right below the surface. Like in life, you like look.
Right.
Do you know how hard people like life is? Like you can't.
No, you can't
pick at
do
me.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, do you feel like it's something that you regret doing, putting your relationships? Has it affected anything in your life?
If anything, I don't know.
And if anything, you know what? Sometimes it helps you grow a little stronger.
Okay,
You know,
good.
because
you can't leave.
You can't
gotta
leave.
talk about
and
it.
you got to talk about it and support each other. And when you start seeing your flaws, you realize that we too are not perfect, and if we need help, we need to go talk to somebody and get some help.
Right,
You know,
and that's
so
healthy.
That's you know that might be part of keeping a relationship healthy is getting help.
That's right. Yeah.
So you guys know how to separate the two. I'm glad I have you two here because it's different when I interviewed Dr. Heavenly, you know, by herself, but to get two people together and talk about you guys are still keeping it together on the show. You're 2 doctors, 3 beautiful kids. I don't know how the heck you do it.
It's tough.
I commend you.
It's tough, but you know the other part of kind of this experience is you understand that in life you have opportunities and you have to just kind of maximize them and take advantage and just live it. Because you only get one life. You really do. You only live once. So if you don't like it, then move on. But do say you tried it and you did the best you could.
Absolutely.
But don't. I've kind of started to try to say yes more and experience more and have more fun.
Yeah.
Because God forbid something happens, you know, and I have, you know, I don't live forever. You know, none of us do.
No, none of us
But I
do.
want to maximize like the life that I've been gifted with, you know, because I have friends who haven't even made it this far.
Keep being nice.
Yeah.
Because we need to see more Black people like that on TV.
It's real.
Especially Black women. We need to flip ourselves around because we're not the angry Black women that
No,
everybody thinks that we
No,
are.
we're not.
We
No,
have
we're not.
class,
And
but we got sass.
That's the thing. I've always had a lot of friends. I don't find that Black women are difficult to get along with. I find exactly the opposite to be true. I'm in a sorority and everything. Like, I don't know what that even means. Like, I don't like women, or women don't like, that's not ever been my reality.
People.
Or
you're around the right people.
You attract what you put out.
That's correct.
So you attract
the law of attraction is real.
Yeah, it's real.
And I really don't have the desire to destroy someone. I don't see people as competition. I think what's mine is mine. And so that even gives me another like perspective on experiences with women. And so if someone is like being mean to me or negative, I've learned to not internalize it, because you were probably angry before you met me. You know? Like
That's insecurity within that person.
That's what it is.
You're absolutely right.
You were unhappy before.
You have a choice. You really do have a choice on who you want to be around. And again, you can bow out gracefully.
That's correct.
I know you guys own several businesses as well. What else do you own? Tell us.
So we actually used to own TCBY frozen yogurt store, and we recently closed it because we're going to make that a mobile, like a food truck type of situation.
Oh, fun.
Only because it's challenging when you have a brick and mortar. And so, that's a whole nother conversation within itself. Mm-hmm. But when you have a brick and mortar and you're not there all the time, and you're kind of letting someone else run your business, and you trust that they'll do it well. Right. Again, the benefits have to outweigh the negative experience.
Right.
And so I started to find that it was too much stress. It wasn't fun. Right. And I felt like what we were doing, like what we were making and what we were contributing to the world, wasn't enough for the hassle factor.
Oh
and so
my gosh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, so so it's not even just the money, it's the hassle factor. Mm-hmm. Right. And so it's not on my purpose. Like, I used to really want to do something fun, and that's why we opened the frozen yogurt store. But when it wasn't fun anymore, and it just took a lot of my time, and it wasn't, to me, benefiting the world, I said, let me change it. Let me switch this around and use my energy and my time towards something that is going to change lives and be more impactful.
And that's important. That story right there got me, because I remember starting my own business, doing something with my husband, and it didn't work. And we just ran, I don't know, it was just more angry about it than we were happy. Right. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you do need to follow your purpose. You do. And trial and error is okay.
Absolutely.
I want people to know that you can try and keep trying until you find something that works for you. But don't feel like you're a failure. So that's really key.
And
oh my God, that's
and
key.
It was a choice, but the failure was that I made this decision that I thought was going to bring me joy, but it didn't. Like, it was exactly the opposite. It was just doing things like payroll and hiring and firing people and all that. Yeah. That was just not my menagerie. Like, that was not what I was meant to be doing with teenagers and 20-year-olds and stuff like that. It was just like, I am wasting way too much time on, I'm not even impacting their life. Like, if it was a mentorship program or something, but it was just, I would even, when I hire kids, I would tell them, I know you're just passing through here. I know this is not, you're going to be, your final stop is not going to be your purpose, but I need you while you're here to do the best you can. Right. But honestly, the flip side of that is fast food. You really ain't paying them enough for them to, unless it's inside of them. Chick-fil-A, God bless them. I don't know how they do it, but that's the point. There's really not too much. There was no real incentive for them to do a great job all the time, and it's hard to find people who do that who you're not watching. Right. Does that make sense?
You're right.
So it was just so much hassle. It was like, okay, wait, I watched you steal that.
Oh,
and that kind of, because it was just that kind of stuff.
Right,
it was just,
and sometimes you have to count the losses. Trust me.
That's what I'm saying.
You
have to count the losses.
Okay, you could have done this 2 hours ago, but we're watching you sit down and read or get on
your boyfriend comes back with you.
Your boyfriend comes in the store.
So
it was just like
almost,
not giving it 100%.
It was draining. It was draining.
Emotionally
at times.
draining.
Emotionally draining.
I bet.
And then once in a while you get that kid that's a spark, and you're like, wow.
And you can't keep them.
If I could just keep you or clone you, we'll be in it to win it.
They're like, oh, I'm about to graduate, go to college. You're like, that's right. There wasn't preventive medicine. There wasn't changing lives, and
Well, you guys are definitely in the right field and in the right direction. So now we're going to kind of switch it up.
So now we do more investment. We do real estate stuff. We do a lot of venture capitalist stuff. And so we're kind of the richest man in Babylon type thing.
Okay.
I mean, like
We're not the richest man. in Babylon.
No, we're not.
But,
But that's what we do.
Well,
get there.
say that
she's
you
gonna,
are.
She's going to get us there.
Look, I want to dig a little deeper this week on
Okay.
Health Matters. We've
Yes.
been power steering on the series, The Power of Health,
Yes.
and we want to continue the race with you all. So
Okay.
thank you again. So heart disease is number
Mm.
one killer for all Americans. And stroke is also the
World.
leading cause of death.
Mhm.
As frightening as those stats are, the risk of getting those diseases are even higher for African Americans.
Yeah.
High blood pressure, also known as the silent killer. Obesity and diabetes are the most common conditions that increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. The prevalence of high blood pressure in African Americans is the highest in the world, like you just said. Also known as hypertension, high blood pressure increases your risk of heart disease and stroke, and it can cause permanent damage to your heart before you even notice any symptoms. So that's why they call it the silent killer. My question to you all is, what are some lifestyle changes that anyone can make to make a difference in their lives, to help their family's lives? Whoever wants to take it, or both.
This is where she shines, So this is
Well,
we both can get on
I'm
here.
let him do it. He's the nice one, and then I'm going to be more harsh. So I'm just going to.
We talk about all the risk factors for hypertension, obesity, sedentary lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two main ones right there. Because obesity, sedentary lifestyle, poor dietary choices, that's what controls this temple that we live in, our body.
Absolutely.
So, whatever you put into this body is what your body's going to get. What you feed this engine, or what you put into this engine, is how this engine's going to run.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, if you're not putting premium into your body, okay, if you're not keeping your body tuned up, if you're not exercising, if you're not, our diet, our inactivity, stress, all that's killing African Americans, killing us.
Yeah. And smoking. And smoking is that's one of the major risk factors too. And a lot of people don't smoke, but this is there's a cultural thing that's kind of happening that I find almost to be very dangerous. When people say, I'm big, but I'm healthy. Because of my audience, and I hear that so much about how big and healthy that you can be. And I don't know where that comes from, because that is not anywhere in medical literature. That's not true. Okay. And so I've had, it's great that it's bad, but it's good that I've had a couple of friends who had that philosophy, but now have become very verbal about how they were completely wrong, because one of my girlfriends, I'm 43 now, was morbidly obese, but she always talked about how healthy she was, because she said she went to the doctor and her numbers were good on her labs and stuff, and she had a stroke. And so it wasn't true. It was not true. And it was just that I find that, we will say stuff like our bodies are built differently than other people's. There are a lot of documentaries, I think, that are fantastic. And one of the great things about like Netflix and YouTube and things like that, there are, not what people talk about with the health a lot, but not even, there's this one called, it was made by PBS, Facts About Food, or The Truth About Food. And and it's not even about being plant-based or any of that stuff. It's just talking about, and the first images were, there was a little kid drinking like some soda. And then there was some other kids drinking juice. And then they were eating chips. And they showed all these things that are normal that people are feeding their children.
Right.
No nutritional value. And you just first saw that and you were just like mortified that was food. And what is food? What is actually food? Food is nutrients. Food is medicine. Food is what you ingest to fuel your cells in your body. There is no nutritional value to most of the things that we ingest. And so I always tell people that if it can live on your shelf, you should never really put it in your body. Because, so how long has it been there? And anything that's good for you is very likely perishable. And so the best thing to do is to shop on the periphery of the aisle. Get fresh meats. Mostly plant-based is probably the best way to be. Mostly plant-based. So you don't have to become a vegetarian.
Well, I am.
Plant, that is tricky, because there is a such thing as an unhealthy vegetarian.
And that's what I'm changing now.
Because again, we're talking about fresh.
Right.
We're talking about fresh,
Yes.
barely cooked. That's the way that we should eat most things. The way that they came from where they started. So an apple should come from the tree and then go into your mouth. It shouldn't be cut up and sauteed with sugar and go into a can. That's not an apple. Squeezable applesauce is not. We're not talking about that. We're saying it should look like how it started. right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with meat. It really should be very, very fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And you could, get it frozen. And that's the second part that's okay. But again, it shouldn't be all different, like chicken nuggets. What is a chicken nugget? The breading and the processing in the factory, in the plant, all those things are additives that make it last longer.
Mm-hmm.
And all that processing removes the nutritional value from the food.
Right.
And you can tell when you eat certain foods how you feel. When you eat fresh fruit, or even if you make oatmeal,
mm-hmm.
how you feel after you eat that versus going to get some pancakes with syrup, bacon,
chicken,
sausage, all
yes.
that you feel different. You feel lighter. And some people are like, I don't feel full. You just feel satisfied.
Yeah.
We've started to ignore and stop listening to this gland that's in our brain that naturally tells us that you are satisfied,
mm-hmm.
and what you started eating for is because you were hungry, and now you're no longer hungry. You're not supposed to be full. You're just not supposed to be hungry anymore.
Right.
So all that is not the way that we are taught in our culture to eat. We talk about enjoying food, how good it should taste, savory, that like enjoyment from food. It really doesn't matter if you enjoy it.
Right.
It just should fuel your cells. That part needs to almost be removed from our philosophy about, I don't like that. Who cares? It's not, you don't like high blood pressure either.
No.
You don't like dying early,
you don't
or
like
being
cancer.
You don't want to be in a wheelchair either. You don't want an amputation either. You won't like that more than you will not like eating kale or Brussels sprouts or leafy green vegetables.
Right.
Not processed, manufactured food.
Yeah. And you don't have to do a trial, case study, or anything like that. All you have to do, as physicians, we all had to do hospital rotations or have patients admitted to the hospital.
Right.
And it's just amazing. You can have a patient admitted with a hypertensive crisis, and you don't even have to change their medications. All you have to do is put them on a American Cardiac Association 1,800 calorie per day diet. And 9 out of 10 times, their blood pressure will go back to normal.
And they don't have to be on the meds anymore.
Well, they have to be on the medicine.
They do.
The damage sometimes is done.
The damage is done.
Really?
So once the arteries are hardened.
Remember that image from that PBS special? It started with childhood. We started implanting all that plaque in our blood vessels from all the bad things that we've done. And we do it to our children.
And to finish that thought, those patients who go in and out of the hospital with hypertensive crisis, when they come in and you're there with them, they're managed.
Yeah.
As soon as they go back home, they go back to eating the same foods,
again,
drinking alcohol,
smoking. Sometimes that next day they have someone from the family
bring them food to the house.
That is the most. It's on the cardiac unit. It's crazy how many people have someone bring them some Popeyes or some.
Oh yeah, they want the worst.
They're
the hungriest in the hospital. We have to do something consciously to be more aware of what we're putting in our bodies. I'm not a vegetarian. I need to stop saying that. I'm more of a health conscious eater.
That's right.
And I've changed that since I've been doing these interviews because again, I'm not just the expert. I bring people on the show like you two to tell us, okay, what can we do to make a difference? And it saddens me.
And you talked about the cupcake, for instance. That was a celebratory thing. But even that, we try really hard to, like today we made it, but I try really hard to make substitutions when I cook.
There you go.
And I try not to really, because in the bakery, it's lard and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we treat as a treat, so, this is sweet to me. And when you eat a little bite, you're satisfied versus, and we throw food away over here. We feel very comfortable. After today, I have actually the batter upstairs. You'll see us in the bowl. I only made, 12 cupcakes?
Right.
That's it. I didn't finish the box. I didn't make the full batter because they can't keep eating it. They won't. Once they've had that cupcake, they satisfy that urge. So it's really not about deprivation. You have to do things in moderation too, because you are living in the world. I don't want you to be people to think they have to be weird.
I know
you don't have to be weird. That's why I say mostly plant based. You can eat meat, but mostly eat well. And eat bad occasionally. Yeah, not
right.
That shouldn't be your staple.
You're right. You're right. I love that. I mean, just eat well, be well. Do your best and just be conscious of what you're putting in your body. But it just saddens me. Like, why do you feel African Americans is mostly at risk? What is the culprit
of
our
this culture. Disease? It's how we are taught, how we celebrate, like the whole celebration around food and eating, and how our celebrations are so wrapped up in like, this is the food, unhealthy, unsavory foods are kind of the center of our celebratory lifestyle.
It is.
And we can carry on that celebratory lifestyle, but we don't have to carry on the method of cooking that they use, because we have to remember our ancestors and parents and grandparents, they used what they could get.
Yeah.
You know, they couldn't have all the top choices at the time.
No, they were pulling from the pig.
They were exactly.
Probably didn't add much to it either, though.
They probably cooked it more healthy than we did.
You're right.
But now we have to make the choice, and we're not making the right choice as far as our diet, our health, because you know what? We can get together and have a wonderful Sunday dinner, and we don't have to have anything fried. We can still have that fellowship.
That's great.
You know,
absolutely.
we can have fresh fruit. We can have whatever. You know, like I tell people, make the dessert and all the bad things on your plate the small portion.
Right.
You know, because the food pyramid is turned upside down now. Remember, it used to be the meat, a big part of our portion. You know. Now it's like, what's the main thing you need to have on your plate? You know,
got to reverse that psychology.
Yeah, reverse it.
And people think, because, of course, I'm from Mississippi, so we all believe in the pulling from the pork. But I don't know. When I met my husband, he's from Israel, and I'm like, his whole palate is different from mine. And he was like, babe, we're not eating this anymore. I'm looking at him like, what? It was angry. I was angry at first. Hangry and angry, like, no, I'm not changing that. But I felt so much better. I just felt better. And when I eat my food, like fruits and veggies, I don't want anything else. Your taste buds will actually change.
It will.
You know, when you change your lifestyle, that's what you'll start craving more of.
That's right.
Dr. Scott, you're cooking up a storm with Chef Jannard.
Yes, you are.
We are.
Yeah. So what inspired you two to work together? What are you guys trying to do?
You know, we just talked about cooking and making things taste good. You know, and so when he would come over or when we would be together, you know, I'd say, Chef, what would be like, you know, if we're doing a crab boil, why do people have to do so much butter or have to do so many things?
Well, how did this start for you, though? Tell the truth. What's your history of cooking?
My history of cooking? Oh, well, my history
He's
of
an
cooking.
excellent cook. That's what I'm trying to get you.
My mother
He's way better.
My mother was probably one of the best cooks. You know, everybody want to brag about their parents being. My mother was a great cook. You know, and so
people buy rolls from her.
She was known as the bread lady in the city we grew up. So she did this double baked, twice raised yeast roll that everybody in our town had and loved and enjoyed and still talk about to this day. And so she always cooked
and taught him
everything she cooked. Was good. And I noticed that my mother did not, when she made meals, she didn't prepare them unhealthy. Now, desserts were desserts. Like, the desserts would be desserts. But when she made meals, she didn't have to use a lot of butter to make things taste good. You know, she would bake a lot of the meat. You know, growing up, rarely did we have a lot of fried foods. You know, she did a lot of baking, a lot of cooking. And so I followed her in the kitchen. I'm the youngest of 10, so mama's boy, last one at the house, you know, in the kitchen. Good. We had a garden that was about 40 feet long. When I tell you, we grew every vegetable that we needed.
Real organic.
Yeah, organic. And didn't even know it.
Authentically organic.
Yeah. It came out of that garden, and sometimes it was something we could just wash and put right in our mouth and eat, or something she put in the pot and made some greens, you know.
Oh, come on. And, I know my dad, they had the greens in the backyard. So I know about the and the cucumbers,
and all the stuff. So good. And they grow so easy. They grow so easy.
And squash, oh my God.
Man, it's so good.
I mean, you get so many squash and green peppers. I mean, they grow so crazy, so fast. Yeah, and so my mother instilled this love of cooking for me. And she'll laugh at me because, like, actually, when I'm cooking something, I smell it and I say, this will taste good on some chicken. Like a seasoning, you know, and it's funny. And she'll be like, you were right. That tastes good. Like, who would have thought to put some doggone steak seasoning on some asparagus or something, you know, or something. And she'd be like, okay, it actually won. You know, so I think just with that, me and Chef got together, and Chef is a wonderful chef. You know, he's been on so many
Food Network, the cooking
TV.
show, everything.
And so
the whole work.
We just said, you know what, let's get on here and let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
And then let's talk a little bit about health.
Good.
Or whatever's on our mind that day. You know, it was funny. Last time we talked, I had on a watch because we had just finished filming, and I had on because it was March or whatever, and it was Autism Awareness Month.
Okay.
And so I had on his watch, and Chef was like, "What's that you wearing?" Out of the blue, we changed our whole cooking show into talking about autism and kids, and then we try to implement a little bit about diet and health in it, and so I mean, we just having fun with it, seeing where it's gonna take us.
This is awesome.
But one thing I can tell you, when we finish cooking, we throw down.
I know.
we
I was at the
You
last
were
one.
there, yeah.
And I was like, oh, it smells so
Yeah.
good. And you guys did substitution. What kind of sugar?
Yeah, like
It wasn't regular
we used
sugar.
stevia instead
Yeah,
of sugar
stevia is
before.
the best one.
Natural raw stevia.
Right.
We've never used pure butter. We've only used olive oil butter, like
Yeah.
a blend.
So it's ways to make it
and-
work,
and
guys.
we no salt additives.
Right.
Spices and flavor.
Dr. Contessa, what is your number one health concern?
Obesity. It really is. So people are like, I love who I am. What does that have to do with you needing to fix to something? That is not desirable because every statistic shows that being obese increases your risk of every disease, including cancer.
Right.
One of the major risk factors for cancer is obesity.
Yeah.
Because the problem with fat is fat gets converted to all these things that are inflammatory. And it causes your body to work against itself for the most part.
Yeah.
Without being a nerd and talk about all these inflammatory
That's fine,
cascades,
yeah.
when you have excessive fat, especially around your heart, your midsection, that is a reflection of what's inside of your blood vessels.
Right.
And so it's just saying that there is a problem and it's just making everything harder to move.
Ooh.
Everything should move. So everything is kind of clogged up. It's kind of like a drain. Just when people cook, they don't pour grease down the drain, right?
I mean,
Why?
You're right. Because
it'll clog
it'll clog it up.
But your blood vessels are the same way. They will pour all that grease down their body, but then they're going to put it outside. If you're going to put it outside because you don't feel safe putting it in your drain, why would you feel safe putting it in your body? It drives me nuts. I'm
that's
like,
a good scenario.
Sometimes I don't even realize for a long time that we don't, like I'll cook, like today, I cooked the cupcakes and I was like, you needed a third cup, I think, of oil.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, crap, I don't think we have any. I didn't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the last time I needed it.
Right.
Wow. I don't remember when we needed it.
Some spray.
Something else.
Some olive oil spray. Canola spray.
But that's the point. I don't need it. I use chicken broth or something, but it just makes no sense. The stuff that people will say, like Coca-Cola, they'll talk about how Coca-Cola, they'll put it on on their battery and how it erodes, gets rid of erosion. Okay. But you will pour that down your throat. And if you just do it on occasion. But if you drinking 44 ounces or what are you talking about?
You on my toes, sister. This is all about
makes sense.
Making small steps but big changes.
Just think think about this. Like if you let that sit on the counter and it looks awful. Right. Because you can sit fruit out for days and it looks still pretty. Right. But if you sit a plate of the food, like some chicken or something, and you look at it and you think about how unsavory it is.
Well, look, this ties everything up. What ignites the fire within you to do what you love today? And what's the most important piece of advice you can give people about healthcare?
What ignites me is passion, saying that I have the ability to make a change. And being a physician, you have the ability, and people look for you for leadership and a change. So my goal is to be that positive role model in a sense of saying, hey, I'm doing this, I'm being healthy, I'm trying to make the healthy choices. This is what I emphasize for my patients. I want you to make the same healthy choices so that we can prolong our lives and,
live well.
Not just live, but just live well. Live well, live healthy, live happy.
For me, there may be a little edge to my voice when I talk about this stuff, but it's really not true. I believe we are taught one way for the most of our lives. Right. And so it's really challenging to believe what I'm saying because it goes against everything we've fundamentally been taught. Absolutely. And so I understand that resistance in that. So I hope I'm not coming off as not understanding because that's not true. But it's just after you know better and you then argue the other side of it. This is healthy. Like this is, a problem. Mm-hmm. No, you can choose to still do it, but you've been told, you've been warned. Uh-huh. And so start actually challenging me or other doctors by doing your own research and starting to find out if we're correct about this stuff we're saying about food. Right. People will argue you down because of what they have been doing, but they don't have any evidence or any proof to substantiate that being obese is still healthy. Right. Find something that shows that. And when they do that vigilant research, they're going to just Google anything. It's going to show you what The risk factors are sleep apnea, being obese, increase your risk of sleep apnea, increases your risk of everything. And so then I think that like motivation, that drive to be right is going to help people actually get information that's going to change their lives. So I challenge people to start doing that. If they're listening and they're just like, she don't know what she's talking about. You can be big and healthy. Find me something in any medical literature, anything that says that. Right. AMA, JAMA, anything. Any Journal of Lifestyle Medicine, American Heart Association, any of them.
Postmortem autopsies.
But find anything. And people always say the doctors make money by people being sick. Well, actually, if that's the case, then be well.
Come on.
Stop paying us.
Ooh.
Stop being so sick so we won't make no money.
Now that's some real talk right there.
I would love
Come
it.
to us for cosmetics and beauty.
And you feel like that? Then start doing what we talking about. Eating well. Being like, try your best. To keep your money out of the doctor's pockets. Because the reason that we spend all this money in healthcare on sick people is because people decide to remain being so sick. Keep on eating all that fast food every single day. We just don't have enough healthy people.
No.
Because healthy people don't see us.
Look, if 80% of all hospitalizations are due to obesity, complication of obesity.
So don't be obese.
No.
80%.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's leading to the diabetes. That's leading to the heart disease. That's leading to the stroke. That's leading to the cancer. You know?
Oh, cancer.
What's the magic pill?
That's leading to, that's leading to all that excess weight and stress on your bones, leading to arthritis.
Oh,
another Netflix video. It's called The Magic Pill. And the magic pill,
I need to see that.
all it is the same thing over and over again. All that stuff, all those specials, all they keep saying is eat fresh fruits and vegetables, very little processed foods, very little. Drink water. Drink water, occasionally other things, but mostly water. And then stay out of the doctor's office. Stay healthy.
I love how you say healthy people don't see us.
Yeah. And so some people will still say, well, I know people who ran and did all this stuff and they're healthy and they got cancer and they got this and that. So there are also other factors. We talked about the genetics, environment. And so this is just combating that genetic predisposition that some of people already do have. Because there is a such thing as a genetic predisposition for things. That is absolutely true. When children get diabetes, that had nothing to do with obesity. It had nothing to do with any of those things. Except now, there is an epidemic of children who are obese, who are becoming
type 2 diabetes.
It used to be called type 1 and type 2. We stopped even using those terms.
They're non-insulin dependent diabetes.
And insulin dependent because of now, it used to purely be that, like it would be juvenile diabetes. But now juvenile diabetes isn't always caused by issue with your pancreas. It is sometimes that you have used all your islet cells from eating so badly and becoming obese.
Junk food.
Obesity,
so children,
insulin resistance.
Absolutely right.
I think one of your most recent topics was on that.
Yeah, it was on diabetes. And people ignore that. I mean, amputations are real, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's real. You'll wake up tomorrow and the doctor says it's too late. And we got to do both your legs, your feet, whatever. I mean, it's serious business, guys. I'm not doing this for my health.
And one more thing.
Literally.
If obesity was not a super big deal, why is it that insurance companies are willing to pay for some of these gastric surgeries? Because it is so much more expensive for you to live with diabetes and chronic high blood pressure than it is for you just to have that surgery once and lose the weight. Because the weight is the major risk factor. Why would insurance cover that if it doesn't matter? Why is there a criteria that insurance will cover you for that? It's not everybody. It all depends on the type of insurance that you have.
Right.
But for the most part, think about it like that. Why would insurance ever pay for you to have? If that's what it's about, making money, why would they pay for you to have a surgery to make you lose weight? Because clearly, it's more expensive to live a life of diabetes than it is for you to have this one $30,000 surgery. That's how expensive living with these diseases are.
How many big, overweight, healthy people get that A+ rating with their insurance when they go to get their life insurance policy?
Not one.
BMI, not one. Because if you're over that BMI limit, guess what? Your insurance company ain't going to say you're healthy. They're going to say, no,
You
No,
don't
you're
fit.
risk
And,
factor.
and having normal blood pressure
You're
does not mean that you're healthy.
No.
That one time you went to the doctor and your labs were okay and your blood pressure was fine, what they didn't do was called a cath, where they looked inside your arteries and made sure that they were all clean and you were
guess
fine.
what? Being skinny and don't mean you're healthy either.
Genetic,
You know,
hypothyroid, it could be
diabetics out there
hypothyroid,
too.
But guess what?
Right.
I
hypothyroid.
bet you they ain't stopping them arteries.
I really do appreciate you taking the time out.
Absolutely.
Because this, again, means everything to me.
Yeah.
To change one person at a time, if not every family at a time. Because,
Right.
again, we always talk about, oh, it's generational based and all that. It's a generational curse. No, it's a generational diet
Yes, it is.
that we need to change.
That's right.
So thank you so much for being on the show. Tell people how we can find you on social media. Oh, you had something to say?
Last thing,
Okay.
if I could change one behavior, it's not feeling comfortable throwing food away.
Yes.
Do not force your children to finish their food.
Oh, my God.
Don't do that.
Good.
And if you are full, throw that food away. If you got to knock it on the floor, if you got to pour salt
Water.
all over it,
Mhm.
whatever.
Some people might eat it. Think it tastes
But
better.
you know what I'm saying? Whatever. If you have to do something,
Self-control.
but that, because I know
Yeah.
people who said, because you'll see them and you're like, how'd you lose all this weight? They literally said the
Portion.
thing they did was cut. When food came, when they
Mhm.
put food on their plate, if they did it themselves, even at home, not even
Right.
just a restaurant, instantly they would
Mhm.
only eat, which is still gastric bypass. That's what happens after that. You can't eat as much.
Right.
That's all it does. It doesn't do, there's no miracle inside of you. It literally just makes you not, you will throw up. You cannot eat more, but you can over time stretch that back out. You can overeat over time. You condition your body. Same thing.
It's a muscle.
If
It'll
you-
keep stretching.
Yes. But you can start by just saying, if you put your food on your plate, however you normally make it, and as soon as you sit down, instantly cut it in half and put it in the microwave. Or put it on a plate. Or put it in the freezer. Or if you
Okay.
get a cake, someone gives you 3 pieces of cake,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, I'm gonna save it for later, and you know you don't have the willpower, throw it in the trash can. Like, throw it down the toilet. Because some
Wow.
people gonna get it out the trash can. And your kids, do not make them finish their food. I get full on kids' meals.
Right.
I don't care.
It's about
Stop
discipline.
overfeeding your children. Why does your child not be full on a kid's meal?
Yeah.
Why does your kid need a 2,000 calorie meal, one meal?
Right.
Get them kids some kids' meals again.
When you're hungry, your body is telling you to replenish the minerals that are missing right now.
That's right.
Not to overeat.
That's what I'm
not.
saying.
I mean, we're hungry, yeah, but we're supposed to eat for minerals and nutrients,
That's right.
not for
So start
satisfaction.
feeling comfortable, because we are Americans overeat by
yeah.
default. But we have too much food in our servings and on our plates, and we visually put too much food on our plate.
Pull away from the
And
table.
throw that food away and don't force them to eat it. You can find me on Instagram, Dr. Contessa,
Okay.
and Atlanta Contessa MD, ATL Contessa MD on Twitter. Even though I'm terrible with social media.
So I post everything and tag her if anybody wants to follow her. But just follow me, Scott Metcalfe, MD. That's for me for Instagram, Twitter, and upcoming website. We're looking for a whole bunch of more exciting things to come because, as you can see, this woman has a lot to offer this world.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
Oh,
I'm,
my
I'm
God.
gonna be rolling with her, and
I want people to live long and well.
Amen.
It's
And I'm going to
over.
live longer after having this conversation.
Yeah.
Hello. We all are going to do better and eat better and do well.
Yes.
So thank you everyone for joining this party with a purpose. Be sure to download and leave a review. If you have any questions, tell your girl I'm right here. I'll catch you next week. All right, it's getting real hot up in here because we are so fired up.
When they strike, we light up.